So we have a very good team, and I'm very grateful. And I'm very grateful to every person that showed up today to vote. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Tudor, Michigan's comeback starts now. Here we are, everybody!
And of course, I want to say thank you to Ralph and to Ryan and to Garrett and to Kevin for running a very spirited campaign. They did a nice job. And to Perry and Michael and James, too. I want to thank them for giving themselves in this effort to better our state, because I know where their heart is. And I know where their heart is tonight, and I'm so grateful that I had such amazing opponents. But tonight, it's not about any of us. It's about the moms and dads across this state who lost everything these last 4 years. It's about the parents in Grand Rapids whose kids Gretchen Whitmer locked out of their classrooms. And it's about the moms in Flint who would have gone to bat for their children and tried to catch them up and watched them helplessly fall behind while Gretchen Whitmer vetoed reading scholarships for their children. It's about the residents in Benton Harbor, who Gretchen Whitmer ignored for years when they pleaded that their water was too contaminated for their children to drink. It's about the young family in Sterling Heights who can't afford their groceries anymore because of Gretchen Whitmer and Joe Biden's inflation. And it's about those union members in the Upper Peninsula who just want to go to work tomorrow to earn a paycheck, but they turn on the news every single night and they see Gretchen Whitmer's latest war on the energy that they need to do their job. It's about every person from Traverse City to Monroe, from Alpena to St. Joe, who filled up the gas tank this morning and wondered how they're going to pay the rest of their bills by the end of the week. The truth is, this upcoming campaign, the next 4 years, they're not about Gretchen Whitmer, and they're not about Tudor Dixon. They're about all of you. They're about how together we can rebuild our state. Tonight, I am so grateful for your support. I'm grateful for the support of families across Michigan who have had enough and just can't afford one more blow. But our work isn't finished. My friends, we are just getting started, and I hear it's going to be a rough ride. But Michigan is the birthplace of American ingenuity. After all, we put the world on wheels. We are the workers, the dreamers, the doers, but things have started to change, and it's not for the good. I've watched as our state, our people have lost their jobs, their life savings, and their promised futures. I've talked to countless people who feel less safe in their communities and whose kids were locked out of their classrooms. It's unacceptable. And frankly, Michigan, we deserve better. Our state is at a crossroads, and we've made an important decision. We need to know who we want to be, and I think the people in this room know. The battle lines in this race couldn't be any clearer. This is going to be an epic battle between a conservative businesswoman and mother and a far-left birthing parent and career politician. And now we have the opportunity to truly hold Gretchen Whitmer accountable for the pain she has inflicted on each and every one of us during the past 4 years. This is personal for me, and I know it's personal for you too. These aren't just policy disagreements. These aren't just silly old battles in Lansing. This has been our lives, our livelihoods, our families, our careers, our businesses, and our children, and you don't mess with the children. Gretchen Whitmer's policies aren't just far left, they're extremely expensive, and worse, they're deadly. They're destroying our children. When she locked the doors to every school in the state, she set up an entire generation of students for failure. We're still only beginning to understand the academic and emotional damage Whitmer's lockdowns did to our children. And when given the chance to help them catch up, Gretchen Whitmer vetoed scholarships to help those students get the learning help they needed. Too many kids have suffered for far too long. We've seen the impact at our home, and I know you've seen it at yours. Moms and dads have watched their children fall behind. They've watched the struggles with anxiety and depression, and they've worried about skyrocketing juvenile suicide rates, and far too many families, friends, and neighbors have buried their children. Gretchen Whitmer didn't just hurt our kids. Her policies are destructive for our workforce and our businesses as well. I visited with our restaurant owners, our barbers, our florists, and a long list of small business workers, business owners, and workers who were denied the ability to make a living because one person, Gretchen Whitmer, thought she knew better. I've talked with the men and women who've lost their jobs, closed their businesses because they couldn't make it work, and they had the "Closed by Whitmer" sign in their windows. The queen of lockdowns, she decided you were not essential. All the while, she let the criminals get away, stealing millions from our unemployment system when those who really needed it couldn't get it. Those have been the long 4 years of Gretchen Whitmer, and it's getting worse, not better. Whitmer has cheered the Biden policy while he's pushed us into a recession. Hear that word? Recession. She's been riding with Biden while he's been driving our economy into the ground. We've lost years of learning, we've lost our businesses, we've lost our life savings, and we've lost so much more. I want to tell you the story of a woman named Janet Dunleavy. Janet was an overcomer her entire life. She was born in 1927, and tragedy struck her young life 2 years later when her father took his own life. Janet was raised by a strong single mother with a teaching degree, which was a rarity for that time. Janet went on to become an accomplished pianist and eventually attended college herself and followed in her mother's footsteps, getting a degree in education. She married after college and raised 3 incredibly wonderful and beautiful daughters. She was a dedicated mother, an amazing kindergarten teacher. But when she was in her early 50s, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and told she just had months to live through that. But she overcame it. Later, her radiation treatments affected her joints, and she had to have both hips and both knees replaced. But she overcame it. Janet fiercely loved her family, and in her mid-50s, her beloved mother had a stroke and spent the rest of her days in a nursing home. Despite the fact that her mother's memory never recovered, Janet visited her every single day, and she was there until the very end, as we should be. Janet's husband was diagnosed with terminal cancer in their 70s, and she was by his side until he went to his eternal home, as we should be. Janet was quite simply obsessed with her family. She called them every day when they were apart. She shared their joy over weddings and new babies and their sorrow over sicknesses and pain. Janet was a very best friend to her granddaughter, And I know this because she was my grandmother. And she taught me to be an overcomer. But I couldn't tell her that at the end of her life because my grandmother was locked in a nursing home. A nursing home locked down by Gretchen Whitmer. All of those years serving and loving us so well, ended alone. So I make this promise tonight, no one in this state will be locked away from their loved ones ever again. We have all suffered because Gretchen Whitmer's policies stopped us from doing what the people of Michigan do best, from providing for our families, strengthening our communities, working hard, and every day working to make Michigan the best place in the world to live. Friends, we can get there again. We just need a governor with the plan, the vision, and the leadership to get us there. Mine is a vision of a family-friendly Michigan with good careers, better schools, safe communities, and roads you can actually drive on. Gretchen Whitmer locked our kids out of their schools, and then she taught the poisonous critical race theory and radical gender theory once they were allowed back in. I want to keep our kids learning and give the parents the resources they need to get our kids caught back up from this time out of school. Gretchen Whitmer wants to shut down pipelines and tried to raise our gas tax. Remember that? Yeah. How would that go over now? I mean, it is an election year, don't forget. I think you should be able to fill the tank without skipping a meal. Gretchen Whitmer thinks you'll forget she failed spectacularly and didn't fix the, what was it? Damn roads. That's right, that's right. I think you shouldn't have to dodge a pothole every single day. I've now had multiple flat tires, which my mother completely reminds me of every single day, and one cracked wheel. How does that happen? And when I went, they actually said, "You're the third cracked wheel this month. It's the potholes." I'm like, I'm using that. Gretchen Whitmer embraces the spirit of defund the police. And now Michigan is experiencing an increase in violent crime at double the national average. I think we should be able to walk the streets of our cities without fearing for our safety. Gretchen Whitmer wants to keep subsidizing big universities with your tax dollars while they keep jacking up tuition on you. I think you should be able to get education and skills you need for a job without breaking the bank. Speaking of breaking the bank, Gretchen Whitmer's driven grocery prices through the roof. Bacon's up 25%. I mean, come on, bacon? Everybody loves bacon. Don't even get me started on milk. We all love milk too. And that's just for groceries you can actually find on the shelf. I don't know if you've heard this story about baby formula. Some of those folks back there might want to cover it because we still can't get it. They're like, oh, who needs baby formulas? Yeah, a lot of families. That's a family thing. Family first. Michigan, Whitmer doesn't get it. The truth is, she doesn't care. Instead of tackling inflation, Gretchen Whitmer is talking about anything but. Like President Biden, she's pretending no one will notice they've created, that word again, recession. If we pretend like there isn't one, maybe people won't notice. That's a hard thing to hide. But I know we can get our state back on track. That's not how we'll leave it better for our kids. That's not how we'll get from the bottom to the top 10, but we can. I'm under no illusion that it will be easy, and I'm going to need each and every one of you to keep after it, to keep fighting for this state that we love so much. And after more than a year of doing this, I know you're in it with me. I know a little something about tough battles. This primary was a little tough. I know it's not, don't get me wrong, I know what I'm going into. So I know that it's gonna be tough, but I know what fighting and beating breast cancer was. That was tough. Running and growing a Michigan-based steel company as a woman, that was tough. Watching my Nana be locked away in a nursing home to die alone, that was tough. But as the saying goes, when the times get tough, the tough get going. I am tough, my friends, and I am just getting going. And if I know one thing, it's that all of you people are pretty darn tough, too. So now it's time, my fellow citizens. I want to make this a better state. And if we want a better state, we need a better governor. And tonight, I ask you to continue that discussion with me. I'll be interviewing for the job in the state in the days and the weeks ahead. We don't need any more half-hearted promises from lifelong politicians. We need someone focused on our moms, on our dads, on our children, and on our future. I'm grateful for your support tonight. But this isn't about me, and it isn't about Gretchen Whitmer. It's about us. And making certain Michigan's brightest days are yet to come. God bless you, and thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.